Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today's proceedings are tragic. A deadly argument between cousins ends in the courtroom, where the accused is now hoping for release while awaiting trial. The defense pushes for a bond, calling him a young man with family support and no prior record. But the prosecution gets right to it, sticking to the severity of the charges and highlighting the victim's mother's opposition to his release. Let's see what the court decides.
All right, so this is 24 SC 006485, Jalen Hill. It was 2 counts of murder, 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony.
That is correct, Your Honor. Michael Norman on behalf of Mr. Hill. I filed a motion for bond. Mr. Hill was denied bond at his first appearance. Just so the court's aware, Mr. Hill's family is present, including his mother and several other relatives. This case involves a family. The decedent in this case is Mr. Hill's cousin. They were extremely close. Mr. Hill was at his cousin's home when this happened. There was an argument, a shooting, and Righteous Hill, the victim in this case, passed away. Mr. Hill does not have any prior criminal record. He was admitted to college and he was set to start a job, I believe the day after this incident. And the reason I know that is because although I haven't received full discovery, part of discovery I received is the statement, there was a witness present, the victim's girlfriend, who made a statement, which I have, in which she says that they were so close that Righteous had bought Jalen boots and work clothes for the job he was set to start. Now, I will tell the court, because I know that the state is going to bring up, that Mr. Hill was not taken into custody until about 7 months after this incident. Part of that was because he doesn't have any history. He's never been arrested. He freaked out, is the easiest way to say it. And this was someone he was extremely close to, but he did eventually turn himself in. He wants to deal with this. I think we can, I'm asking for a reasonable bond in this case. I'm asking for a $50,000 bond total with a tether to ensure his appearance, given the delay in him turning himself in. He's been in for 122 days at this point. Again, his family's here. They're very supportive, and they has sat here all day waiting on this hearing. We're just asking for a reasonable bond so that Mr. Hill and I can prepare for the case and ensure his appearance, which I believe a tether would do in this instance. He's not a threat to anyone else. Again, this was a close family incident, he has absolutely no record before this, Your Honor.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, the state opposes bond in this matter. This is an incident that occurred on February 28th of 2024. The defendant did not, he was not picked up until about 8 months later, Your Honor. But this was an argument between cousins. Mr. Righteous Hill is the victim in the case, and they lived, Mr. Righteous Hill and Terry Wilson lived in East Point together, and Jalen Hill was living with them for about 6 years since COVID, Your Honor. There was an argument because the defendant took Miss Wilson, the victim's girlfriend's vehicle, and had it longer than anticipated. And so there was an argument between the cousins when he returned home. The argument was about the vehicle. And once they began to argue, they were in a room, and the defendant pulled out his pistol. The victim is heard saying, "You're going to shoot me." And then the argument continues downstairs. The third party in this incident, the girlfriend, Miss Terry Wilson, she indicated that she heard the door chime, so the door opening. And then she heard her boyfriend say again, "So you're gonna shoot me, and you're gonna shoot me." And then she heard gunshots. The victim was shot 6 times in this case, indicating that, and the victim was shot 5 times, but one bullet or projectile was recovered from the door, indicating that he was attempting to close the door as he was being shot. When Miss Wilson came downstairs, she did see her boyfriend lying, shot several times. She called 911. He did make an excited utterance saying that Jalen shot me, and Jalen was nowhere to be found when the police got there or when Miss Wilson got downstairs. He did leave and didn't turn himself in until September 30th of 2024. So that's several months. So the state would contend that he is a risk of fleeing, a danger to the community, and a risk to intimidate witnesses. Particularly, he knows Miss Wilson. Miss Wilson is a witness in this case, and he is likely to intimidate her upon his release, Your Honor. Your Honor, I also was able to speak with the family of the victim, particularly the mother, and excuse me, and she is opposed to bond in this case. And so the state would object to a bond being set in this case, Your Honor.
And just in brief response, Your Honor, they did not live together for 6 years. He was there at the time of the incident, but it was an on and off kind of situation. Mr. Hill has been in the Fulton County Jail for 122 days. He has not made any attempts to contact the witness in this case, although he does know who she is. He hasn't contacted his family and told them to try to contact her. He hasn't done anything, try to intimidate anyone, and he did turn himself in, even though there was a delay, because he had to get his mind together for coming to the Fulton County Jail. And I know that, the court may look at that a certain way, but you can ensure his appearance with a tether. And he will be here, and this is a close family, and the family will continue to be related regardless of how the outcome of this case goes.
How old is he?
23 years old, Your Honor.
And how old was his cousin?
35, Your Honor.
35?
And again, according to the witness's statement, he was a father figure to Mr. Hill. They were extremely close. This is not something that Mr. Hill takes lightly. And I don't want to get into the facts, but there was an altercation occurring when this happened. And Mr. Hill is much larger than Jalen. They're both Mr. Hill. Righteous Hill is about 300 pounds, according to the ME report that I have. And you can see that Mr. Hill is probably 150.
I don't understand these young kids. They're bringing guns, and that's how they resolve all their arguments is with a gun. And not once, but you shot him 5 times. I mean, you don't have a record, but how's he going to pay for an ankle monitor if he's out?
Well, he had just gotten a job. I don't know if that job is still available, but he does have family who supports him, and he will work and through the family support be able to take care of it.
I think it's like $300 something a month, isn't it?
About that. And I know the county is no longer paying for them.
Yeah, I think if we paid for it, the staff, Ms. Woods probably kill us because she can raise.
Right.
Let's see. Did you see that? No, on your computer.
Right here. Not guilty.
Let me see.
Either however you sign. I know they don't teach cursive anymore. I don't know.
Let me look at the warrants real quick. Oh. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. So where does he live right now?
With his mother,
And is that in Fulton County?
Fulton County, DeKalb County,
Mm. So he'd have no reason to come into Fulton County, right?
not except for court, Your Honor.
Stay out of Fulton County unless court or see your lawyer. So an ankle monitor with a 24-hour curfew. Except for court, lawyer visits. And of course, if he has like a doctor's appointment, he can't, he can obviously run it through. So they indict him on 1 count of murder and 2 ag assaults. Is that right? Oh, that
It's
was,
one kind of murder, one kind of felony murder, one kind of aggravated assault, which I
Okay.
think is the basis for the felony murder. And possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony are the 4 charges.
all right. So no further contact with Terry Wilson and no further contact with, what's his mother's name? Mr. Rice's?
One moment, Your Honor.
Verna Wilcox.
Varner, Varner.
I'm sorry, V or B?
V as in Victor. Last name Wilcox, Wilcox.
All right. So you have to pay for that ankle monitor. So if you can't afford an ankle monitor, you don't charge that ankle monitor, we'll issue a bench warrant for your arrest, period. Okay? All right, so let's see. So 30,000 on possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Sorry, Candace. 50,000 for ag assault. And 300,000 on each murder and felony murder. 300,000, 300,000, 50,000, and 30,000. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
5 bullets and a 7th-month disappearance? It's really hard to find grace in this situation. And obviously the court agrees, issuing bonds amounting to $680,000. The judge ensured this fight wouldn't be happening from the outside. The defense leaned heavily on strong family support, but when one part of the family is in court fighting against release, does that argument still hold? And is reconciliation even possible when one side is pushing for freedom and the other one wants justice from the court? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gripping courtroom moments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.